I feel like I was able to be in those long-term relationships because I have mentally checked out well before we actually ended. I was just like on autopilot, zombie mode in that relationship, just navigating because it felt comfortable. Like, how many of us are in a relationship that you've been in a relationship for years with this person, and you just on autopilot? Put a finger down if any of these resonated. Put a finger down if you're staying in a relationship with somebody who you have outgrown, who you know you don't need to be with, who you know that you're just with and you're just comfortable. Like, put a finger down if you've already felt emotionally drained and unpresent in your relationship, but you're still there. And you've been able to witness the amount of red flags time and time and time after again. But the red flags are starting to turn pink, which is starting to turn baby pink, which is starting to look like it's a girl when it's not. Like, it happens to the best of us, I promise. But when I tell you there is way more to life, and I know I'm like making these like slight jokes, but there's so much more to life outside of being unhappy. It's time to stop that cycle. If you are unhappy in a relationship, and this is all seriousness, you have to go. Hey, session family, how y'all doing? How y'all feeling? What is up? My name is Raquel Simmons, and I am a marriage and family therapist. And you are now tuned in to In.Session's very own Uncomfortable Conversation podcast. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share. Enjoy the show. Hey family, how you doing? How you feeling? What is up? Welcome back to another episode of Uncomfortable Conversations, In.Session's very own Uncomfortable Conversations. How you been? Like I said, I don't know if you watched or got a chance to watch our last podcast, but we're coming back to back with them. Like every week, every Sunday, you're going to be seeing my face. So how you feeling? Happy Sunday. Like happy session Sunday. If y'all haven't already done so, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, like join the family. Like, we're here. Like I just said, every Sunday. Now we're locked in. Like, we're really family now. We're coming. It's giving Sunday dinner. Yeah, you like, connect with your family on Sunday, or y'all all go to some. Well, I don't know if y'all still do it, but like, you go and you connect with your family on Sundays, have a good Sunday dinner. Who's cooking? Like, let's get into who's cooking today. All right. So, as always, we start every podcast with our icebreaker cards. So, by the title, we're already going to be talking about relationships, red flags, all the things. So, I thought it was only right for us to do the couples edition, one of the couples editions card. So, let me shuffle it. How y'all week been? How was y'all last week while I'm shuffling? I had a pretty, I don't want to say a long one, because, well, it was definitely a long one. But you know what? I had the opportunity to dive into different things that I think is gonna like bless me in new opportunities. So I'm actually excited. I was excited about the different meetings that took place last week, although it drained me. So we in a new week. Let's see how this goes. Hopefully this new week goes as smooth as possible. And wait a minute. Happy September. I'm going to pick out a card, but happy September. I don't know where August had to go, but baby, August was in and out. I don't even know when it got in, but August was out of here. Like, I don't know who needs to hear this, but the fall is coming and I thrive in the fall. Like, it's starting to get chilly outside where I am, New York, New Jersey. It's starting to get chilly out. I can't wait to wear my boots. Like, write in the comments, am I the only one who loves the fall? Like, I am, like, the fall and the spring are my seasons. The summertime and me, I don't know. We don't really be clicking like that. Like, I don't know. Sometimes we do a hit or miss, but this summertime, I've been working a lot this summer, so it's definitely been like a maybe not too much of a miss on like personal goal development, but definitely a miss on like I don't feel like I got outside enough. Yeah, I don't feel like I was outside enough. I don't feel like I enjoyed this summer because I spent a lot of time working. Anyway, so I'm definitely happy that the fall is coming. The fall, I just feel it like pumpkin is back out. I am not a pumpkin girly, but that just it just shows you like, all right, we changing. The seasons is happening. Like anyway, so we're gonna get into one of these cards, and this card says, "What does your partner do to make you feel validated?" I know that we did a couples card last episode, but so I want to just, try to change my response a bit. So, what my partner does to make me feel validated? Hmm, I would say listen to me. Like we have really great conversations, and I think that our communication skills are pretty like A1. And so I just feel like I feel really validated when I'm like heard, as probably all of us. So definitely when my partner is able to just listen to me and hear me out, and mind you, I say the wildest things all the time, all the time, and like all of my ideas, like everything that I just like, whatever wildest dream pops into my head, I'm able to like tell my partner like, hey, I have this idea, I wanted to run it by you, or hey, how you feel about this, or I had this thought, like everything, and it's always like my partner is always when she's able to hear me. So thank you to my partner. All right. All right. As the title says, we're going to be talking about some red flags into relationships. And I think one of the things that kind of prompted this topic is definitely something that has been circling around, and it's definitely a huge hot topic that has been going crazy, especially like last week was the Funky Friday podcast with Cam Newton, and he had on Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. And so we are not going to unpack all of that. There's no way. I think a lot of people have already unpacked it, a lot of it, and so we're not going to reiterate or restate a lot of the things that have been said. I definitely watched all over 2 hours long of that podcast. One, because I actually really do enjoy the podcast in general. I don't know about like, his responses sometimes are not the best in his own podcast, but his guests, I enjoy the way that he has guests and they're able to, I don't know, like his guests, you could tell like he and his guests either have some type of like cool relationship, like I've been able to see, like they feed off of each other, or he has like really interesting guests on his podcast that just intrigues me to like watch. So I definitely am a frequent watcher of that podcast in general, but this in particular, his last one with Dr. Bryant was like, she was reading him like crazy. And one of the things I particularly want to talk about today is him saying, he wants to be married, but also pointing out that he has a fear of being married, but he wants to continue to have children. So if you haven't already watched it, go watch it or don't. I don't know. I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of the like highlight reels on Instagram or all over social media, but he was explaining that he has 8 children, and he wants to make more. He wants to continue to have children. He also said he doesn't want to be married, but he has his high. I'm trying to like quote him without quoting him, but he said that his fear of divorce is higher than his urge to get married, basically. Um, and I don't know how y'all felt about it. Like, write in the comments. Let me know how y'all felt about it, and I'll let you know how I felt about it. I honestly feel like it was bullshit. Like, Dr. Bryant definitely read him on, the whole broken home concept, which I just like bowed down to that woman. She was so phenomenal in the way that she was able to be very direct and very calm and, stay focused. Like, you can tell that she is a queen at what she is doing for sure. But I want to just point out this fact or this point, because he is not the only one who thinks like this. Like, there are so many men that have a plethora of children. Like, so many children that you don't even know your siblings. Like, there's some kids out here that know exactly who their father is, but don't know all or have never met all of their siblings. And so I wanted to point that out just because I wanted to bring forth the topic of, what do you guys think is like worse, getting pregnant or getting married? Like, what do you think is more, and when I say worse, like, what do you think is more of like a level of commitment? Like, getting married or getting pregnant? I'll give you some time to like write in the comments what you guys think is like A, getting pregnant, B, getting married. Like, which one is a more bigger commitment? I'll tell you mine's. I feel like getting pregnant is a huge commitment, more like over getting married. Now, granted, getting married is, it's supposed to be solid. Like, we're supposed to do this thing for the long haul, death to us part, whole thing. And also, you can also get a divorce and start over. Like, people have many wives, people have been divorced and married and divorced and married. Things aren't like lives obviously, and you're able to maneuver around, and as long as you're still breathing and alive on this earth, you're able to pick and choose whatever you would like. Having children, however, I feel like having children connects you, it's like, for with a person forever. Like, this, I feel like it's a running debate, which I don't know why it's even a debate. Like, it's outrageous to me, to be honest. Like, why is this even a debate? Having a child, you're always going to be tied to someone. Being married, you guys can get a divorce and never speak again. Like, go on about your business, do whatever you would like, no ties, especially if it's, you know what I mean? We'll probably have to deal with a little bit of the, severance of what's going on. In a divorce, but after a few months. But once that's all said and done, it's done. That baby gonna keep asking about their father if the father not around. I've been able to physically witness that. Whether you're with that father or not, you're still going to be able to hear about them. I mean, your damn child probably look like them. Depending on how much y'all argued or how much he pissed you off during the pregnancy, I've heard, and granted, I don't have any children, but I've heard that the child comes out looking like them. And so now you don't even like the father of your child anymore, and your child look like them. So you're always going to be remembering of, there's always going to be some type of residual of the father around. And never mind if the child start acting like the father without even the father being around. It's a whole thing. So that's how I feel like, well, that's why I feel like having children is so much more of a commitment. Like, even trying to co-parent, like, this person is going to be in your life even after they're 18. I don't care what anybody says. Like, the whole, oh, once they finish high school, we could separate, do our own thing. No. Yeah, if your child decides to go to college, if your child decides to do anything, and your child says, I want my both of my parents around major milestones, they're not gonna want to do all that splitting because y'all couldn't get it together. Listen, so with that being said, I want to talk about some red flags in a relationship, because I want to help. Like, let's talk about it. I want to start to pinpoint some red flags, maybe so that maybe we can avoid these type of situations. And listen, obviously, red flags is not just for men and women. Red flags is for both women, like same sex, everything. Like the red flags is for people. So I want everybody to be able to, I don't know, like talk about some like common red flags within a relationship. And then we're going to talk about how we could get out of some of those red flags. So I actually found this article, and I am going to put all the information per usual in the comments in the description below, about some red flags, or the most common 15 red flags. So one of the things that I see within this article, one like starting off was love bombing. So love bombing is basically when you feel like the relationship is like at like full speed, or they're pushing themselves on you, and you're just, it feels good, but it feels like too much. So I will give you guys a quick story, and this is like so funny because I told you like my partner is always usually in the room with me, but when we first started, I thought I was getting like love bombed by her because, and here's why. And we had a conversation about this, so I'm able to talk to you guys about it. But when we first started dating, I mean, when we first started dating, this girl was like, all right, wait. When we first started dating, she pulled out like a ring sizer, like measuring my fingers already. Clearly, she did a good thing because I'm already, now I'm here. But I mean, pulled out the ring size, like asking me about marriage, like mind you, this is like 2 days into the relationship. 2 days into the relationship. Granted, she'll be on here at some point. We'll be able to explain like our story and whatnot. But no, obviously we were dating and talking way before then. But when we, actually made it official, it was like, okay, so when we getting married, when we doing this, like it was just so much. And at first I was like, wow, this is the person of my dream. I mean, I still feel that way. But, I was at a high. When you first get into a relationship, you're like on clouds. It's just nice. It's beautiful. And then I had to sit back and think, like, am I being love bombed? Because for one, when you come out of so many traumatic relationships and like you get into one that's so just like seems so unreal, I think it's so easy to be like, what's your motive? I was definitely on the fence, like, who sent you? Like, what are you here for? All the things. And I thought I was being love bombed because I'm just like, this is unreal. Like, we just started dating, like, we just got into a relationship. You already talking about marriage, moving in. It just felt like, it felt like a lot. And after we had a conversation, I was able to express that, and we were able to realize, and definitely me, I was able to realize, especially after time, that she was just sure. Like it had nothing to do with being love bombed. It was just her being able to say like, I found my person, and when you just know, you know. So I was just like, all right, I'm gonna stop pushing it. Let me not do too much. Okay, you're not love bombing me, but definitely I was on the fence here. Like when somebody's just doing so much, and one of the examples that this article used is like they feel like they are feeling the holes in your life, and you're a better person because they're in your life, and that's a red flag because don't pick on the weak, don't pick on me, or don't see my flaws and start it's filling yourself into my flaws and saying, oh, I made you a better person because I'm here. Or it's like, absolutely not. If it's one thing if you want to help me and like big me up and stuff like that, but honey, no, that is a red flag for sure, because I could do this with or without you. And people who insert themselves and they feel like, oh, you weren't nothing without me, you lost your mind. You have lost it, because I was everything without you. I want to want you, not need you. I want to have you in my life because you add value to my life, not because you are my life and you're my everything. And what sexy Red said, babe, I love you. You are everything. Listen, you are not my everything. You are everything that I want and everything that I desire, but I'm my everything. Listen, I'm gonna have to talk to Sexy Red so we can update those lyrics to be like, I'm my everything. Like, what about me? Anyway, the next one, the next one says lack of appreciation. So this is a common red flag of when they don't appreciate what you do. Like, you pulling out all the stops, or yeah, you pulling out all the stops, and God forbid they say thank you. Like, what, you know what I mean? Like, if you doing things, and in a relationship we start doing things that we ain't never do before, especially if we're like head over heels for this person. We start, like me, I start cooking. Y'all, if y'all know I am not a cooker. Like, and now I'm like Chef Curry with the pot type. Like, I be in there cooking, but I'm all, like, could you imagine if I was cooking all this food and my partner didn't say thank you, or didn't even show that they appreciated what I do and what kind of value I bring to this relationship? Absolutely not. I would be like, oh no, we not about to even do this. Like, I would, let's stop it now, because this is a red flag. Because why can't you say thank you? Like, is it gonna kill you to appreciate what I'm doing, or And it just makes you not feel like you even want to do it. You know what? Quick story time in that realm. Um, I was in this relationship, and I had cooked. I had cooked this like big dinner. I mean, my partner wasn't there. They partner was at work at the time, and I had, and I'm not a cooker. Like, I've never played that role until now. In my relationships, well, kinda. We'll get into that later, but I had did this whole thing. Like, when I tell you I cooked, I mean baked chicken. Black people love baked chicken. So I baked some chicken, vegetables, like, I don't know what else. I think it was like mashed potato. It was that whole thing. And I planned this like indoor movie. This was like during COVID. Not too much. But anyway, so I planned this like indoor movie day. I mean, it was a whole thing. It was so nice. I really did my big one. And my partner at that time came in the house and picked this huge fight with me for no reason. Like, when I tell you, I don't even know what it was about to this day. I have no idea. But that was probably the last time I cooked for that was probably the last time I did any of that thing, because not only did my partner at that time pick a ridiculous fight with me for no reason, I never got like a thank you. I never got, like, you would think, you walk into a house that's like very, candlelight, very decorated, a whole nine. This person would come in and be like, wow, this is really nice. Like, whatever you wanted to bicker about, please save that to the next day. Let's have a good night. But no, some people want to bicker when they feel like it. So anyway, that was so much of a lack of appreciation in that scenario in my story, because, excuse me, first off, now the opportunity is gone. I would never cook like that. Made me feel so low. It was just outrageous. So I could definitely say that is one of my red flags that I've experienced. And please let me know in the comments, like, connect with me. Try to let me know, like, have you guys experienced any of these? Do I have, like, a light bulb moment here where it's just like, wow, I didn't even realize that was a red flag. I didn't even, I hope I'm not triggering anybody, but if I am, let's talk about it. The next one on this in this article was crossing boundaries. This one is so funny to me because I would lose my mind. This one is like, if you set a boundary that you're saying from the jump, like, I need this to be done in order for me to feel safe and secure. And somebody then comes back to you and says, I need you to not have that boundary in order to be with me. Excuse me. Like, I was so triggered when reading this article on that portion, because it was like, you asking me to pick you or me. And for me, it's gonna be me every time. Let's start there. But that happens more times than none. Like, excuse, like, that's when people is like, I don't know. Like, I wanna. I'm trying to think of like an example, or like I would like to. Uh, Let me see. What kind of examples do you think of when you feel like somebody's crossing their boundaries? Like, if I'm scheduling a specific time for me to have me time, this is a good one. If for me to continue to flourish in life, I'm like, I need to take at least an hour of my day just to pour back into me. And this person is like, oh, I can't be away from you for an hour like that. Like, oh, what you doing? Like, why do you feel like you need an hour away from me? And absolutely not. Like, no, no, you're not crossing my boundaries in order to be in this relationship. Definitely a red flag. Lack of communication is a red flag. I feel like, and this is for our big age. Like, at our big age, learn how to communicate. I don't know who needs to hear this, but learn how to communicate. We is getting too old to not know, or to keep using excuses, or not knowing how to navigate through conversation. You speak to people every single day. All this, I don't know how to communicate. He doesn't know how to communicate right. They don't know how to communicate right. Learn. Figure out, I cannot keep stressing this enough. Granted, a lot of it is learned experiences, and I get it. And also, grow up. It's time for us to have real conversations. And if you're not willing to have those real conversations, the next conversation is, I gotta go. This relationship is done. We're not having no good conversations. We're not having beneficial conversations. It's time to go. All right. Unwillingness to compromise. A relationship is about compromise. Like, reality, it's about compromise. Listen, it's about picking your battles for sure. Sometimes, like, I be thinking, and we all have like little mini toxic ways. So sometimes my little toxic person, on my shoulder be like, you're right. You shouldn't have to compromise, this way. And sometimes, the other person on my other shoulder is just like, girl, you can compromise. Like, is this even that serious? Is it even worth it? Like, is it even worth whatever y'all going back and forth about? Is it even worth the fight? Is it even worth the battle? If the answer is no, leave it. There goes the compromise. If the answer is yes, you can also always agree to disagree, all the things. But in a relationship, do you want to be right, or do you want to be happy? Because at the end of the day, if you're doing so much to prove your point and prove how much you're right, you're actually not. Because now you're back at odds with your partner, and nobody's happy. Because you shouldn't be happy knowing that your partner isn't. So, do you want to be right, or do you want to be happy in your relationship? I don't know. Up to you. But definitely a red flag. This next one gets under my skin after I learned the definition. And it's gaslighting. Oh my God. Once I learned what gaslighting is, I was like, wow, people been gaslighting me my whole life. But just like, think of gaslighting as like a reverse psychology. Like, what? You're making me feel wrong about the thing that I brought up that you're wrong about. And now your responses is telling me that I'm overreacting. And now you're making me feel crazy. Like, this is one thing that is just like, no, you're making me feel crazy about something that I know, you know? You're making me feel crazy about something that I pointed out, and now you got me questioning myself, all because you feel like you wanted to gaslight me when I know I'm right. And so now you got me checking back on my Carfax to make sure that what I'm saying is true. And in reality, you could have just took accountability for what I'm saying. You could have just heard me, understood me, and we could have moved from there. Instead, you making me feel like a fool. I don't like feeling like a fool. So now I gotta pull up receipts. And I always got receipts. Let me calm down. But I definitely don't like when people gaslight anybody, because it's like, yo, just take accountability. Just hear what I'm saying. Let's move forward. Definitely a huge red flag. How we doing so far? We got a few more left. But I'll be resonating with any of them. Like, yes and no. I really enjoyed this article. Like I said, I will put all the information in the description below. The next one they pointed out was inconsistency. I just feel like this is like when people is like, all right, they're gonna do something, they don't do it. When they, start picking up something or start doing things that they say they're gonna do, and then it just lacks off. But this is definitely a pattern. This is definitely like, all right, what's going on? Like, are you just don't want to do it, or you just like don't know how? You're not communicating, but definitely inconsistent. And I will say this: when a person is inconsistent, first off, not only does it drive me crazy, but it's like when a person. Let me give you an example. I've been with somebody. Listen, a lot of these examples is gonna be me, because why not? But I've been with somebody that was very inconsistent in the way that they communicated. And let me know if I cannot be the only one who has experienced this. But their communication skills was so inconsistent. And so now you're trying to figure, this is when we get the double texting. This is when we start saying like, what's going on? Where you at? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not consistent in the way that you're communicating with me. And so, yeah, I've been with somebody who wasn't communicating or wasn't consistent in the way that they communicated. And so we weren't, in the same homes or anything like that. And so, I'm texting you, I ain't hear from you. I'm texting you again. Hours is going by. I ain't hear from you again. And now we get the double texting, triple texting, like, hey, what's going on? How you like? What's going on? I ain't hear from you. Now you calling. Now, so a person like me, I need consistency because I am an overthinker for sure. Like, I need consistency because if you don't answer me within a timely manner, you are somewhere dead in the ditch, body flipped over, rolled over. They had the time to dig out the grave. I have to now search, look for, like, when I when I tell you, first off, that's the only explanation I feel as to why you're not answering me. Like, let's start there. That only makes sense. So if that's not the case, what's the problem? Where you at? And so when a person is inconsistent, you start to feel like you're doing the most. Like you start being clingy, you start doing too much, all because a person is inconsistent. So that is definitely a red flag for me. So another one is like put downs. When somebody is like putting you down, somebody is just like not bigging you up the way that you are, the king, the queen, the everything that you are, and they just keep putting you down. Why are you even with that person? Listen, they is not a part of your elevation, so they have to go. Controlling behavior. The next two is like controlling behavior and alienation, and I kind of want to put both of those together because controlling behavior is, telling you what and where you could go. Like, oh no, we're doing this today, or you're not allowed to do certain things. And then alienation is keeping you away from like your family, your friends, all things that you usually would do. And so I wanted to put these together because, of course, I have an experience of my own. Like, listen, y'all gonna know all about me because why not? We family. But yeah, alienation and controlling behavior, I would say go hand in hand because one of the way I experienced it is, I've been with somebody who, I couldn't even, like, I couldn't go outside by myself. I couldn't go get some air. I couldn't, like, nothing. I could not go outside, get air, step away, nothing, unless I was like going home, and I would spend multiple nights at this person's home. And while in their home, I wasn't allowed to touch my phone at all. Like, when I tell you I wasn't allowed to be on any social media, I wasn't allowed to, and the way that I'm saying allowed, it makes me cringe. But I need you guys to know, like, the severity of what I was into. And I wasn't allowed to, be on any social media. The person I was with were like, how before you could um turn off your when social media would tell a person, like, if they were active on social media, like, this person was active 2 hours ago, or this person is active now. Definitely learn how to take those shits off. But like, I was in a relationship where the person I was with was checking, like, if she was outside, because granted, she was able to go outside all the time, like, while I'm in her home, just like looking dumb. We're going to talk more about that for sure, because that's like a whole nother topic, whole nother conversation. But I was definitely not allowed to do any of that, which is like the wildest thing, which means that I felt like not only was that controlling behavior, but I was alienated from you guys. Like, I couldn't get on social media, I couldn't detach. And not to say that social media was like a huge thing, but if I'm not, let's be real, social media is the way that we communicate, that we vibe together. We know what each person is doing without even really communicating. And so you mean to tell me I can't connect with my people while I'm in your home? Some may ask why I kept going over there. Listen, I found so much security in that level of discomfort, in that level of unsafe. I found so much security in it. And it was because of, like, the level of, like, security, like the safety that I felt, the freedom. It's the weirdest thing, and I know it doesn't make any sense, but at that moment it just made so much sense. I felt so much safer being, or free being, unsafe. Like, I felt so free being unsafe in that environment. It was just the wildest thing. So definitely, I just wanted to put both of those in together, just to kind of give you guys an idea of what I'm talking about. The next red flag is excessively lying. Oh my God. Like, why are you lying? First off, that's one of my biggest pet peeves. When people lie for no reason. Oh my God. Because, for starters, I do not even care. I need you to know, like, it is not that deep. So when you are lying, I used to be with some, listen, clearly I've been with some people in my lifetime. Listen, I deserve to be happy. I deserve to be in this happy relationship because of all the things that I went through, and I made it out. But I've been with somebody who was lying all the time. I mean, we will both look at the sky, see it's blue, and she came up with why she knew it was red. Like, oh my goodness, like, literally everything was just lie, and it wasn't even good. It was not a good lie. It was not a good lie. It was not a good lie. One example, and I don't know why this one is coming to my head, but oh my God, would you believe? So I'm at work, busting my ass, like, working hard, trying to make sure that we have some, a place to lay our head, like and food to eat, survival. I am working hard to make sure that we had survival. At this point, I found out that she had quit her job, and so she's riding around driving in my car. In my car. Maybe I'm triggered, but listen, I've been through a lot of red flag relationships. But so she's riding around in my car, and Um, what ideally the purpose of her having my car was, for her to do some like Uber Eats, make some extra money, stuff like that. So I'm like writing her like, what you doing? What you, where you at or whatever. She's just like, yeah, I'm riding around, whatever, whatever. Not knowing that the people that she's with, my sister has on social media. And so my sister is like, now why is your ex-girlfriend in your car with X, Y, and Z driving around? Like, what's going on while you at work? What? Like, could you imagine? First of all, furious. Then it's like, why are you lying? And you in my car lying. You driving around doing the most. And not to mention, I seen like this, like one day I had seen this footprint on my dashboard. And then you think I'm crazy. Because she had the nerve to tell me like, oh no, that's not a footprint, when I could clearly see, I know what a footprint looks like. Anyway, the point is, I've been through a lot of red flags relationships that I've stayed, so I am not judging anybody who anything or any of these may resonate. But definitely excessively lying. Like, why are you lying? The next one, we're almost through it, so I have a total of 15. So number 12 is jealousy. And I'm going to combine jealousy and lack of trust, which is number 13. So jealousy and lack of trust, I feel like also goes hand in hand. Jealousy for sure is like a red flag because, whoa, jealousy is only, I feel like, a red flag when they have nothing to be jealous about. Like when you're just projecting your own jealousy or your own jealous thoughts onto this relationship, honey, I need you to check that before you even get back into another relationship, because that's out of control. If they have a reason, like you gave them all reasons to be suspicious about it, then that's a different conversation. So I definitely want to put that disclaimer out. But yeah, if they projecting like you doing better than excuse me, if you doing better than in like financially, and they preying on your downfall, or they feeling jealous because they not invited in some rooms that you are invited in, absolutely not. That's a red flag, honey. Because if we're not elevating together, you're putting me down. There's no in between. So what we doing? Like, definitely look, if your partner, if you're with somebody right now who you feel like is bringing you down because they know that they are probably fighting in the same goal. And that's why I think it's like, you have to definitely be careful when you're in the same industry as your partner, because y'all fighting towards the same goal as an independent. And so if you get invited to certain rooms and they don't, pay attention to how they react or respond to that, because that could cause something huge later on. So I definitely wanted to put that again with the lack of trust, because again, disclaimer, if they have something that they feel like you have presented that is untrustworthy to them, different conversation. But if they always ask you where you at, and then you tell them and they don't believe you, and now, oh my God, you ever been in a relationship where somebody was like, where you at, what you doing, and you tell them and they don't believe you, and so now you FaceTiming or you sending them pictures of like who you with, what's going on? That is outrageous behavior, and I've seen it done where it's just like, yo, what is going on? Like, I told you I'm here. What's wrong with you? Why don't you believe me? If you have given them no reason to have lack of trust, that has something deeper within them. And definitely, if y'all are doing that, go get that checked out, because that is disgusting behavior. That is red flag behavior. And we trying to eliminate all red flags. Like, no. So number 14 is abuse. That goes without saying. Like, abuse physically, mentally, emotionally, red flag, get away. Honestly, get out of that relationship ASAP. Why? Because that person has demons they are battling that are bigger than you. And honey, you are not going to be the one to fix it. They need internal healing that is bigger than you. So quit thinking that you could fix that man, that woman, them. That stop thinking that you could fix them and allow them to heal before you get into that relationship, because abuse is abuse. Period. And it's not going to stop until they figure out that they are doing wrong. And until they, do you know, a while back, and I told you guys that I was in an abusive relationship, and I've gratefully gotten out of that. But do you know that one day my ex had called me from like this block number, because she's blocked on everything. A blocked number called me. I don't know what told me to pick up, but I picked up. I'm like, hello. We having like a very short conversation, but one of the things that she had said was like, she apologized for behaving that way towards me, but then in the same breath was like, oh, but you know what you did. Like, come on, you didn't help me out. Or come on, you know I didn't mean to do that, but you didn't help me out. I was telling you not to be on these apps, so I was telling you what I needed from you, but you ain't helped me out. You kept doing everything else that you wanted to do. I kept being a human or trying to have my own identity while in a relationship with you, and so I wasn't helping you out. Please, like I said, abusive relationships or abuse in any like physical, mental, emotionally, these people need help, and you're not going to be the one to help them. It doesn't matter how nice you are, how educated, how persistent you are. These people need to get help internally. And if they are not willing to get this help, they're going to be like that even beyond you. So definitely get out. And the last one, number 15 of that article, is the hot and cold behavior. One minute you be all good, the next minute you're bugging out. Like, definitely a red flag, because what's wrong with you? Like, one minute we chilling, vibing, and everything, next minute you're picking a fight. Really? Jail. Like, jail. Immediately jail. Like, what's even wrong with you? Why are you even going back and forth? So I'm not going to provide you guys a whole bunch of red flags without knowing or telling you guys some of the signs of like when it's time to let go. And how many of us have been in a relationship that we was ready to get rid of or let go of way well before it ended? Like, how many of us have been in a relationship that we was checked out before it actually ended? I remember hearing like people saying like, yeah, I was checked out. I've been checked out of relationships and I am a very much so long-term relationship girly. Well, I have been. To people, the wrong people in the past. And I feel like I was able to be in those long-term relationships because I have mentally checked out well before we actually ended. I was just like on autopilot, zombie mode in that relationship, just navigating because it felt comfortable. Like, how many of us are in a relationship that you've been in a relationship for years with this person, and you just on autopilot? How many of us are in a relationship or have been in a relationship that because of the amount of years that you both have spent together, you feel like you don't know how to continue to navigate outside this person, or this person is all you known for the past X amount of years, so you don't feel like you want to uproot again and do the whole what's your favorite color phase? Or how many of us have so many properties or so much business or so much invested into our relationships that we feel like leaving would actually put us in a worse position than if we just would have stayed? Said put a finger down. Put a finger down if any of these resonated. Put a finger down if you're staying in a relationship with somebody who you have outgrown, who you know you don't need to be with, who you know that you're just with and you're just comfortable. Like, put a finger down if you've already felt emotionally drained and unpresent in your relationship, but you're still there. And you've been able to witness the amount of red flags time and time and time after again. But the red flags are starting to turn pink, which is starting to turn baby pink, which is starting to look like it's a girl when it's not. Like, it happens to the best of us, I promise. But when I tell you there is way more to life, and I know I'm like making these like slight jokes, but there's so much more to life outside of being unhappy. We are in a time zone where we have been able to, no shade to our parents, a lot of our parents see them so unhappy and stay in relationships that's no longer serving them. We have been able to see our grandparents. Our grandparents got so many, them grandfathers got so many other kids. Our grandparents put up with so much things and so many things from their husbands, and they were just taught to stay in those relationships because that person was the provider, that person was the protector. They was handling and doing everything for the home, and they've been taught themselves that once you get married or once you're in that committed relationship, this is who it is. And it's usually like the wives, the grandmothers, the moms who are usually holding down the fort and staying put in that relationship while the man goes out and do God knows what and comes back because he knows he always has that house to call a home. It's time to stop that cycle. If you are unhappy in a relationship, and this is all seriousness, you have to go. Life is way too short, and I'm going to tell you that I am a testimony, a testament to be able to say that being in long-term relationships and getting out is very freeing. My longest relationship was like 8 years. Once I got out, I mean, granted, I was outside, but I was discovering myself. I got to learn so much about me. I got to get into some more shitty ass relationships. And then I got to get into one of the best relationships I've ever had in my life. But more importantly, I got to learn, I got to grow and develop more as a character. So it's hard, but it's worth it. Like, it is very hard. It's not easy to start over, to find yourself, what you like, but it's so rewarding when you do. So I definitely just wanted to get that out before I actually give some like realistic tools and tips, or not even tools and tips, but some signs that you could probably pick up on when you are already checked out, and these may be able to help you know, like, all right, it's time to go. All right. One of the major one, I think this is probably the obvious one, is when you guys are arguing about everything. What is we arguing about? Like, oh my goodness, like arguing about everything. First off, it's insane. It's stressful. You could get a heart attack. No, thank you. Like, arguing about everything. Like, who put the groceries up? Oh my goodness. Which way the groceries went? Who put that away? Arguing about, oh, why you let the phone ring 3 times, or where were you? Like, just, oh my God, everything is an argument. Why do we have to argue about every single thing? When you're arguing about everything, that's when you know you both, or at least one of you, is checked out, and it might be time to depart. Another one is like little gestures that you used to do, you're not doing anymore. Like, you're not checking for them. You're not getting a good morning text no more. They're not buying you flowers. Like, different. Granted, you can have a conversation about it. And also, if this continues, like, you're not feeling the same level of spark, you might be actually mentally checked out. All right. You no longer want to introduce them to like your circles. You don't want them around your new friends. You out there making new friends. You're not interested in even letting your partner know about them. You're not interested in having your partner around anything. You start switching like we into I. Like, everything is just like, yeah, I'll be there instead of we'll be there. You're not inviting your partner out anymore. Another one is like, if you have to be like, if you can't communicate with your partner, and I don't know if this is like everybody's relationship, but it should be. But like, if you can't like key with your partner, y'all can't like laugh about nothing no more, and things just feel weird. You guys are like tiptoeing around each other. That's a sign that y'all probably like checked out of this relationship. Like, that's definitely a sign that something is off. You start making like solo plans. Now you ain't doing nothing together. You kind of doing certain things by yourself. You switching up your style. When I seen this, I laughed because to know me is to know that my hair has been through so much. When I am tired of a relationship, or when I have been able to mentally check out, especially since I had locks, oh honey, like when I tell you, I bleached my hair, I had my red hair phase. If you know, you know. Had my red hair phase for a while. I mean, I went to burgundy, to blonde. Like, why did I have so many red flag relationships is out of my control. But when you start switching up your hair color, oh honey, that's how when you switch up your hair color, when you cut it, you do something different to your style. Oh honey, you might as well let them know. Just rip the band-aid off. You are gone. Definitely when I seen that, I was just like laughing so much because I'm just like, yeah, this was me. But yeah, they start putting you down, definitely start stressing, and start stressing you out a lot. One of the things I also was just like found funny is when they start irking you. Like, you ever been in a relationship and you're so done and everything they do bothers you? Like, just irks your soul. Everything they do, it's just like, why'd you put that cup down there? Oh, why didn't you move this? Why would you, like, even the way they chew is irritating. Like, why are you chewing so loud? Like, oh my God, like everything that they do bothers you so much. And another thing I want to point out that a different article had is the way that your sexual intimacy changes. Definitely pay attention to that. Granted, if somebody has like a sex drive that is not a frequent, or fluctuates, different conversation. But if y'all not romantic anymore, you're not having different levels of intimacy, if you keep telling your partner, or your partner keeps telling you, like, I'm missing something, um or you notice like they going out at night, coming back in, you know what I mean? Just the vibes is off. Honestly, I'm giving tips, but we know. Like, I'm giving these tips because I just want to kind of put them out there and just say, like, we don't have to be what we are exposed to or what we were exposed to. But realistically speaking, we know when we have had enough. Like, we know when we are tired. We know when we are just drained out, and we're like emotionally checked out, when we ain't doing the same things we used to do, and things just different. And so, like I said, just separate. Like, granted, like I said, I'm a marriage and family therapist, so my goal is to actually, make sure that people are utilizing their spaces and learning different tools, and tools to be able to work it out and stay together. And also, I have had to tell clients, like, what do you guys think about separating? Like, it's okay to have those uncomfortable conversations. Like, how do you feel about separating and severing this marriage? Like, what does that look like? Have you ever thought about divorce? How do you feel about divorce? How do you feel about separation? Like, sometimes it calls for that. Sometimes it calls for choosing you and being happy more than anything else. So I definitely just wanted to put that out there. So, we are going to wrap up. So I hope you guys did enjoy this episode with me. But what I will say, we're not going to do chat session. We are going to resume chat session for next week. For those of you who would like to write in on the show, please email me at In.sessionmft@gmail.com. I'll try to put the link in the description or somewhere here. But email me. Let's chat about it. Let's figure out, like, let's grow together. Let's nourish our bodies and minds and souls through conversation. Like, let's do it. So, as always, we end all of our conversations with, I don't know who needs to hear this, but so I'm going to say, I don't know who needs to hear this, but choose you and stop ignoring the red flags. Like, we are too young, okay, to be feeling this old, Coach Drake. So I need us to, like, start being happy. It's time to choose you. It's time to choose us. It's time to, like, like, get the most out of life itself. So definitely, I don't know who needs to hear this, but do not ignore the red flags. Like, thank you so much for joining. I will see you all next week again on our session Sundays. Again, if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you next week. All right, family. This concludes our episode of Uncomfortable Conversations. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. We'll see you next time.